I never imagined that one decision would change everything. But I guess that's the thing about starting over. You never really know what's waiting for you in another country. It's funny, I always thought the sponsorship was the finish line until I realized it can also be the place where everything starts falling apart. When I arrived in Ireland, I didn't have a clear plan. I didn't know how I was going to stay here or how long it would take, but I knew one thing. I wanted to build a life here. Like many migrants who arrive with a dream in a backpack, I just wanted to stay, grow, and build something for myself. So everything began the same way it begins for a lot of people, with an English course, a small rented room, and the pressure of finding a job very quick. But I wasn't starting from zero. Back in Mexico, I had opened my own bakery because baking is my passion. That is what makes me feel alive, and part of me hoped I could bring that dream to Ireland someday. So I started looking for work. My first job here was in a small food production place. It wasn't perfect, but it was the opportunity I needed to begin. And during that time, I heard a word that completely changed the direction of my life: sponsorship. Before coming here, I didn't really understand what that meant. But the moment I learned about it, everything clicked. I thought, okay, this is how I can stay, and maybe this is my path. So my focus became that: work hard, prove myself, and hopefully get the sponsorship. Eventually, the sponsorship did come, but the rest didn't. The promises like growth, recognition, better conditions, none of that happened. I didn't feel valued, I didn't feel respected. And slowly, I stopped enjoying that one thing I love the most: being in the kitchen. The place where I always felt creativity and joy started feeling heavy, And then came the moment that pushed me over the edge. I was told something that made me feel like my visa could be at risk, like everything I had worked for, the hours, the effort, the sacrifices, could be taken away in an instant. That was my breaking point. Imagine that. Imagine feeling that your future depends on people who don't see you as a human being, but only as labor. That's how I felt. Small, invisible, scared. But after the fear came clarity. I told myself, you didn't leave your country to be treated like this. And that's when I realized it's everything or nothing. I have to take the risk. That same day, literally after hearing those words, I started looking for another job. I didn't know if anyone would trust me. I didn't know if someone would be willing to sponsor me again, but I have no choice. I found a vacancy and applied. I went to the interview with nothing but honesty and my experience. I explained my situation, that my visa depended on finding the right employer. And surprisingly, they gave me a chance, one trial day, just one day to prove everything. And somehow that was enough. That risk changed everything. It changed the direction of my life, my career, and the way I see myself. Today, my reality is completely different. I feel valued, I feel supported, I feel calm. I have more responsibilities, more voice, more control over my time, and more opportunities to grow in ways I never thought possible. And that's why I believe this story matters, because for many migrants, sponsorship is the dream, but depending on who holds your visa, it can turn into something completely different. No dream should become a nightmare. No one should feel threatened or disrespected just because their future depends on a piece of paper. We are not tools, we are not numbers, we are people with dreams, with talents, with hopes. But today, I can say I'm proud. Proud of every risk I took, proud of every moment when I could have given up but didn't. I built this life step by step and risk by risk. And even though it wasn't easy, I learned something important. Sponsorship isn't a fairy tale, but it can be the part of the journey that makes you stronger.